जाने अनजाने की सीजन 2 में अभी तक हमने फ्रंट एंड कोरोना वॉरियर से, डॉक्टर से, नर्सिंग स्टाफ से बात करी, बट मेडिकल प्रोफेशन इज मच बियॉन्ड देन व्हाट वी कम टू सी. Today our guest is Dr. Anuj Dilwaria, who is a professional, who is from the medical line, but is a professional dealing into the medical equipments. With 21 years of experience, Dr. Anuj Dilwaria did his MBBS from Moscow. So it's very important to know from him also that in the recent past that we have heard about the situations of the students studying medicine in the Ukraine. So please allow me to welcome Dr. Anuj Dilwaria. जाने-अनजाने में हम आपका बहुत-बहुत स्वागत और अभिनंदन करते हैं.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. It's a pleasure being here and an honor as well. आपसे जो ये मेरी आज मुलाकात हो रही है, this is something new for our industry and something unique for me as well as personally, if you see. So, thank you once again and let's begin our interaction.
जैसा मैंने अभी बताया कि अभी तक हम 5 एपिसोड सीजन 2 में जाने अनजाने के कर चुके हैं और अभी तक हमने केवल फ्रंट लाइन जो कोरोना वॉरियर्स थे, ऑन ग्राउंड डॉक्टर्स, उन लोगों से बात करी. So this is our episode 6 and we are talking for the first time to a professional who's being a qualified doctor, is not in the front line but also doing a lot of job behind the scenes. So Anuj, please tell us, what do you do professionally?
I'm a medical doctor, but into sales and marketing of medical equipment for last 21 years now. I'm working for a company which is distributing medical equipment, high-end medical equipment like ultrasound machines, CT machines, MRI, and cath labs of Canon Medical System Japan. And we deal exclusively in India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. My area of operations is taking care of the sales in the private business in northern India.
आपसे जो सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात हमें आज जाननी है, you did your MBBS from Moscow, Russia, long back. So how was your experience and how did you land into Moscow to do MBBS, and how easy or difficult is it to do studies abroad in a foreign language course? Also, we would like to know from you that we have heard in the recent past, because of the Russia-Ukraine war, a lot of medical students had to rush and they were in a lot of trouble. So, 2 questions. How did you land up in Moscow and what is the exact situation there?
When I went to Russia, it was still not Russia. At that time, it was a country called USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. As a part of this strategy, foreign policy, they were taking up students from the third world countries. And that time India was a third world country. So on government student program, scholarship program, I got an opportunity to study medicine in Soviet Union and I grabbed it with both my hands. I was always keen to go far away from home to study, and that too in a government medical college. I belong to a middle class family, and that time I was sure that my parents will not be able to afford my medical education in a private medical college in India. So once I got this opportunity, I grabbed it with both my hands and went to Russia. At that time, Soviet Union was distributing students according to the colleges which were recognized by Medical Council of India. So initially I landed up in a place called Dushanbe, which is capital of Tajikistan. And later on I migrated to, after the breakup of Soviet Union, I migrated to Moscow, as Russia got all the assets and liabilities of first world Soviet Union after the collapse of Soviet Union. Studying in a foreign country, very exciting, very challenging. Education system is very different there as compared to our country. Like the amount of studies we do here in 12th class is enormous, something which is unimaginable in terms of studies if you do similar studies in schools abroad. Once we landed there, we thought that we are overeducated by the time we reached to the first year of college. First year we were taught the language, of course. The main subject during the first year, which is called as the preparatory course, was the language, the Russian language, and then we started going to the medical college first. But yes, once they start teaching you in the medical college, the education system is too good, it's excellent, and very different from India. Main thing is that it's a self-study pattern which they follow. You're going to a class to attend a lecture or a class, and then you have given a topic a week before, and you have to prepare the topic and go to the class. The professor, depending on their mood, will either ask you the questions or they'll either explain you. So it's a self-study pattern that teaches you to be self-sufficient, self-reliant when you're studying. You go to the class and you are expected to clear your doubts only. And studying with the Russians in their language was like entering a lion's cave when the lion is hungry and sitting out there. But yes, we Indians, since we study a lot in 12th class here in school here, first 2-3 years we didn't face any problems. In fact, we were looked on as super intelligent humans who had landed in their country, institutes. That was the initial experience. But the facilities, the infrastructure they are having out there is unimaginable while living in India, while studying in India. I'll give you a small example. The library of my institute in Moscow was having more than 30 lakh books or something like that, and it was around 3 or 4 storied library. There was a separate building for library in the institute. It was all because of Soviet Union, because the infrastructure they provided was just too good.
This is very interesting, but ये हम आपसे जानना चाहते हैं कि although it's a bit controversial, but let it be. अभी जो पिछले दिनों हमने यूक्रेन में जो मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स थे उनकी सिचुएशन देखा, which was not a happy situation at all. But what do you think? Why do so many students have to go out and study in a foreign language? And अभी जो बात हो रहा है कि वो यहाँ वापस आए और उनको continuation of studies का क्या situation होगी? What is your thought on that?
Go abroad to study because they are not able to get into a medical college in India. That may be due to many reasons. Maybe they are not able to score the marks in the entrance exam, or maybe they are able to score, but then due to reservation, I feel that the reservation is a big factor, which hold back many students who are deserving. And I think that I am also one of them. शायद reservation नहीं होती तो मुझे दिल्ली में मिल गया होता, because I missed out with a very small difference of marks in entrance exams in India. Now students go there because आज के time में the studies are not so expensive as compared to India. Even if somebody has money to pay and study in a private medical college in India, the difference is huge. I think if you study in a private medical college in India and you study in Ukraine or say Russia or CIS countries, so the difference will be, I think, around 4 times. It will be 4 times more expensive in India. Just coming back to Ukraine, education in Ukraine, medical education in Ukraine will be around say 30 lakh rupees, which will easily will be around say 1.2 to 1.5 crores in India. The drawback here comes is, first of all, the language. I don't think it is worth studying in English in those countries because they themselves don't know English at all. How can they teach you a subject, medical subject in English? They themselves are not well versed. Second thing, there's an entrance exam which you have to clear once you come back to India, which is called FMGE, Foreign Medical Graduate Exam. And that exam has a success rate of say around 10 to 20%. 20%, I'm giving you a big figure. I think conservatively it is around 10 to 15% only students are able to clear it. So there's no point going and study abroad. But then, yes, if somebody has that kind of money, they have that wish to study, because in India there's a stigma attached to being a doctor. And that is the reason why medical science in India has been commercialized so much. Because if somebody is putting in that amount of money and time, of course they'll want it back again. They want the returns of the investment. So it's a catch-22 situation. You want to become a doctor, you have money, you go abroad, you study and come back.
मैं आपसे यहाँ जानना चाहता हूँ कि आपने मेडिकल की पढ़ाई करने के बाद एज ए मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर आगे अपना करियर क्यों नहीं बढ़ाया, and how did you land up into sales and marketing?
In my internship in Delhi at Dr. RML Hospital, after completing my education, got my degree registered with Medical Council of India. I can practice. I do social practice. But the biggest reason for me to change over was, as I told you, I belong to a middle class family. My father got retired 2 days, I think, late after I got my degree. And after that, I had to go undergo the internship also. So there were circumstances like that. There were financial problems at home. That is why I thought of changing over. And then getting into PG in India, post-graduation in India, is also a difficult task. Because most of the colleges, either the universities or the universities in the state, education being state matter, reserve PG seats for the students who have graduated from their own universities, from their own state. Giving an example of Delhi, like 85% of the seats in Delhi were closed for me. So I could compete only on 15% of the seats which were available for All India quota, which was a Herculean task, nothing less than that. And I didn't have time to further wait for 2-3 years to study and then take up the exam and clear it. So I thought of better changing it.
Somebody has to actually do a lot of work in the back end, and thank you very much for thank you to you that you are one of them who takes care of the back end for all the medical practitioners. दो बहुत ही अहम सवाल हैं अनुज हमारे आपसे कि अगर आप डॉक्टर नहीं होते तो क्या होते, and how is Anuj Dilwaria as a person?
अगर मैं डॉक्टर नहीं होता ना तो शायद मैं मार्को पोलो जरूर हो गया होता, ट्रैवलर. I love traveling, and along with traveling, like say the corresponding hobbies like photography, philately, numismatics, stamp collection, coin collection, and reading. These are my hobbies. I spend my time. So in reading, especially the current affairs. Till date, I get the newspaper at home. I read it daily. And Google News, I read at least 50 times a day. Whenever I get time, I try to travel somewhere. If not outstation, within Delhi also, I take my car and go somewhere and come back. Like I cannot be stationary for a long time.
आपने कहा कि आप सोशल प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, MBBS सोशल प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, तो कोरोना के दौरान these 2 years have been really bad for everyone in the medical profession or even otherwise. तो आप सोशल प्रैक्टिस के दौरान कुछ ऐसा कोई ऐसी किस्सा, कोई ऐसी बात जो आपके जहन में रह गई हो, या it's a very heart touching story that you want to share with all of us here today?
लोग फोन करते थे, friends and relatives, treatment पूछते थे. They would request me, especially during the second wave of corona last year in April, they would request me to arrange concentrators or oxygen or beds in the hospital. But for 1.5 months, the situation was so bad that I could not help them at all. And that was really bothering me a lot. But I tell you one thing, it is not only the infrastructure or the government who is to be blamed for the second wave and the consequences of the second wave. The people themselves are also to be blamed. The carelessness, the attitude, like what we call in Hindi, chalta hai attitude of people, was the main cause of the second wave. Delta was, yes, a dangerous variant, no doubt about it. Comparatively, Omicron was a better variant. And people took it very lightly. They were not adhering to the basic guidelines given by the government. I could see many people roaming around without masks, not using the sanitizers, cursing the government for imposing the lockdown. But they should realize that this is for their own betterment. And imagine, soon after the second wave, people started moving what they call as revenge traveling, revenge tourism. Like all the hill stations were choco-block. Why? Why is it required? This is something. I lost a close friend of mine, and one of my friends lost his elder sister who was also studying in our school only. 2 incidents really shook me. So
Anuj, coming to the close, this is my last question and most interesting and most important. Who do you think is that 1% who knows you the best? ऐसा कौन है जो आपको सबसे अच्छी तरह समझता है?
It's an interesting question, but a very easy one to be answered. In Hindi, we call her Ardhangini. My wife knows me so well that even before I open my mouth, she knows what I will be speaking or what I'm thinking.
Kind of profession that you are, your partner, your spouse has to understand this profession very well, and it's very important. I would like to take this opportunity, if she's around, to if she can come on the screen for 2 minutes and we can have a chat with her. Manjari ji, thank you so much for coming on the show. हम अनुज से जाने अनजाने के इस कार्यक्रम में बातचीत कर रहे थे और उनके बारे में हमने बहुत कुछ जाना, तो हमने उनसे एक सवाल पूछा कि who is that 1% who knows you the best, and उनका बड़ा obvious सा आंसर था और उन्होंने मतलब मुझे ऐसा सा रिएक्शन दिया. I mean, what a stupid question it is. So obviously he named you, and which is very right. And जिस तरीके के प्रोफेशन में अनुज हैं, उस तरीके में एक स्पाउस को उसको समझना बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट होता है. तो मंजरी, आप अपने बारे में बताइए, what do you do? And my second question is, what do you think about Anuj as a person?
First of all, I am a sales professional and I am into the technical sales. I am taking care of IT sales pan-India of an IT institute organization. As far as my education and everything is concerned, I am a PhD in English literature from JNU itself. Born and brought up in Allahabad. As far as Dr. Dilwaria is concerned, he already said, "Sach mat bolna." Yes, it's okay. I mean, what exactly do you want to understand? That what sort of a he is a usual husband. Usually husbands are all same. So if you'll ask me, he is a usual husband. Typical Indian husband. That is it. He'll lose his temper if he won't find everything is in its own place. He loses. That is it. इसके अलावा तो आदमी ठीक है, पढ़ा लिखा है, बस the only quality.
Thank you so much for sharing so many things, so in so much of simplicity. But I really like that both of you have a prefix as both of you write doctor, both of you are into sales and marketing professional, both of you are related to technology and IT products, and he is a usual husband. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Manjari, for coming on the show. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Anuj Dilwaria, also for coming on the show. It's a pleasure talking to you, both of you. Thank you so much.